About 23 metres inside the Watkins Sedova. Obviously it's in the, under the 25 stairs. Much more fun on the way back up, I can assure you. I was one of the volunteers who worked on the project for the last 2 years, and carrying bags of rubble up the stairs is experience. And carrying railway sleepers down the stairs is even more fun, because they are very heavy. And I never want to see a sleeper as long as I live. You see this ducting that runs all the way down the stairs, expected to be fan inside the park room. That was used to force air down from upstairs to try and make it a bit more pleasant down here. But it was built to house 185 soldiers and 4 officers. So you can imagine what the air would have been like. We've had 100 people down here at one time, and that was quite busy. And this started getting a bit musty in half an hour or so. If they're down here for a plonky at a time, it would have been quite interesting. Now this picture, you can see, is probably painted roughly where I'm standing. You can see the bolts in the arch there match up with these ones here, and there would have been bunks both sides of this tunnel running in either direction, double bunks. So it would have been quite cosy when they were down here. So it wouldn't have been a huge amount of walking space. So as you see at the bottom of the stairs, you'd be straight into the accommodation. So that gives us, this is a proper picture that's done by a war artist, which was in the records of the Imperial War Museum. And stack the rifles against the edge. You will see further around the tunnels, graffiti tends to be higher up, because the lighting would have been better than to do the graffiti. This section is not so much graffiti. This is the lights they would have had when it was in use. So it wouldn't have been very bright, I don't imagine. But you'll see the line sections have got all the remains of the lights, but yeah, that's what the lighting they would have used. And just down there, you can see the power that comes in.
This is just pure condensation, though, isn't it?
This is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably got a bit worse since we opened up the other end so the airflow can go through. We're going to go bin. And remains an old bowl, possibly. We'll go continue through this way. Because in the 1970s, there was the Ice Wall Clearance Programme, which some of you may have heard about. But long and short of it is, they wanted everything from the war area gone. So the site was sold off, and this steel, 9-inch collie arches, was requisitioned from the coal industry at the time. It's really, really valuable stuff. So, scrap man thought, I'm going to have all this out of here and make a fortune. But, as you can see, the actual size of the tunnel is a lot bigger than what we're standing in. They've dug the tunnels out, lined it, backfilled it with chalk. So when they started taking this lot down, they would have got a headache extremely quickly. You had tons of chalk and boulders falling down on their heads. So they've done the section, only just goes around the corner there, and they give up and said, nah, we're not going to do that because people will probably get hurt, I imagine. So they abandoned it. This is pretty much how it was found when we re-excavated it, and we've just used it for, we salvaged some parts out of it, some of the collie art. You can see the stairs have just come down, and we are now about here. No, I'll tell lies. We're going stores. Yeah, so we are about here. You can see the rest of the tunnels where we're going to come out eventually. But these are all the sizes, and that is the actual, I think it's original dimensions and scales when they built it. Which they've done, I don't know if it's already told you, but this whole lot was constructed in 100 days.
A whole lot?
The whole, yeah, tunnels, 100 days they built it in. Which is...
In can from the war.
Looks like it's silver, doesn't it?
This tin is the same tin that's out there.
Yeah.
But you can see it's next door as well. It was lined with cork or boarding because this was a store, and next door is the hospital area.
Oh, right,
It's the only two sections in the whole tunnel that had any kind of lining, unless it was bare metal. But this would have had some kind of insulation to make it a bit warmer. And this is a blown up version of a Paul's coupon. Yeah. That was found in this area.
Yeah.
You see the date, February 20th, 1943, I believe. They traced some of the matches and the dates this would have been filled in, and from this we've been able to work out that this would have been filled in about the 10th or 12th of February, and during that time this area was being heavily shelled, and 2 people died on this site during that time. There was a civilian cook and a gunner. Both died at that time, so that indicates that this definitely in use at that time in the war. So, well, but evidence does suggest it was fairly well used, but yeah, so it would have been major that would have been shipped off to sort it out.
Excavated.
Obviously, they were sold off in the 50s.
Sold off?
Yeah. The army got rid of it, didn't anymore, obviously.
Right.
And then it was left derelict till the 70s when they came along, cleared the surface, filled at the top entrance, and then shortly after that, someone re-excavated a small entrance. So going through between 1970 and 2012-13 were explorers basically, and local people knew the entrance. As you'll see, some of the graffiti is fairly modern, so people will come down here and have a look. For local kids, but being quite far from the nearest house, it wasn't. As you can see, now in unlined sections. It's perfectly safe. Been all assessed by mine engineers, so there's no problem there. But you can see some of the backfill that's gone on to support the voids.
Dated 41.
Yeah, if you keep an eye on the walls now, you'll see a lot of graffiti. There's about 1,000 bits of it, I believe. Some more modern than others.
Yeah.
Some quite.
Must have been so cold down here.
Well, this temperature we're at now, sorry, not for you, right.
Oh, sorry,
It's all right.
yes.
The temperature is at now is about 10 to 12 degrees, and it stays like that year round. Wherever it's up top, down the
I
bottom.
just touched that.
Yeah,
It felt cold.
but it's
But
bearable,
yes,
and when you're
yes.
working down here, it's quite
Sure.
nice, because the detail parts of it.
There was no mechanical diggers or...
They might have had possibly
Kangos.
but we're talking 1941.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't identify the same band in Germany. So you can imagine it goes across the channel and goes for quite a while, the same band that's in. It's quite interesting to see, because this was thousands or even millions of years ago this was formed. These would have been animal burrows, or the little odd bits you see, would have been done with animals, so I'm meant to believe. You can see quite a few pit marks where they would have cleaned off the smaller bits. Well, I imagine the bigger bits would have been done by some kind of mechanical, because it would have been extremely difficult otherwise. And just here, as your head you come through, just up here, you see our fossil, quite a large mollusk of some description. Another one over here. If you could not touch them now, sorry. They're extremely fragile. I know it's really tempting. But yeah, it's quite.
Do you remember the years old that is?
Quite a long. And this down here,
Yeah, me too.
that's the other end of our Scatman section that we were stood at a little while ago. Wait till people catch up. Just in the other side of the chain, we've got a chain here for a good reason, because just on the wall, if I stand back, they would look one at a time. You can see the carved face just there. If you want to have a look, feel free.
Yeah.
Might be one at a time though. Quite a good carving of a face, just when I'm shining my torch. Obviously, talk quite comfortable really. 1940.
Yeah.
Possibly, well, not sure about the same initial, but that one's definitely in 1940. We've got ones from 2005 also. So it's kind of a mixture of the old and the new, really.
Chair. What's the door?
Yep, and trust me, it is very good. I've done, the top door is made the same stuff and it weighs a ton and a half. So, this area we're coming into now, is partially damaged. That's from 41.
Well, 1941, it's very clear,
Yeah.
isn't it? And that's how they did their lines.
Solid pieces of timber there.
These are our new railway sleepers. The mine engineers put up. So this bit we're stood in now,
Yes.
from that security door to the exit we're going to go out of, was filled in, was backfilled. So we had to get the mine engineers to that works this day, if you stand in the right place, when we're digging them out, you can stood up here, and over here you can hear yourself like you're next to you. And they've actually tested them with a right distance where you can pick up sounds. The operators would have been 40 minutes maximum listening to them though, because after that, it's so much concentration, you can do it, they thought they'd have changed over. But by the 1930s, radar was really quite good, so they were kind of losing their usability. Possibly by a shell, but you can see France is just there. This is the most exposed shelter to France, hence why they built the big shelter just behind you. So you can imagine, on a good day, you can probably see the flashes from the artillery, I imagine. 21.5. They couldn't fire 14-mile range, so they couldn't reach France, but they would have been able to reach Arthur Channel, and they were kind of a deterrent to the harbour quite well, because it was just around the corner. You can over Explorer, and that is, in the way. Then we're waving back to us by half three. Just a finger, yeah.
Sailing ship.
Right.
That's the bit of it I can see poking up. Crashing.
Where you were walking actually, which would have been.
Yeah.
Oh, she goes straight, and that one, yeah.
The repair at the top, who come down from Derbyshire, you know what they're doing. Just put a few props in. No, nothing really lives down here, to be honest with you. There's a few spiders. There's a few spiders, especially near the top entrance, there's a big black spider. Yeah. I've had bat surveys and all sorts, and there's no bats down here. Odds I get bats in case, but there's no bats or anything. So much here, no bit of the light. And one of the theory goes that there was a soldier down here, and the light's obviously one of the middle, and he might have gone with his rifle, broke it, put it up here, so that no one sees what he's done, and they get in trouble for it. And also, two different, one of them was American, I think it's this one, this smooth one, that one's got a ridge on it, but they were both found in this area, both been obviously been found. Also again, they might have been hidden, if they, because they're put out some. This is the size of shell that would have been fired from the gun battery above, 6-inch shell. It's not the exact same one, but it's the same size and has been fired as well apparently at some point by the markings that are on it. And this little lump here, it was feeling strong. Anyone want to carry it up? Right? That was at the very top of the stairs.
No.
When they started breaking the entrance up, it broke loose and rolled down three flights of stairs. So it's been pushed here out of the way because it probably weighs about a ton and a half.
Let's take it out.
Didn't they, or did they come off the national grid? Or?
They had a plant room which is across the other side of the track. We found a corner of it where the main generator had been. Where we were up top, there was a little generator.